Dear Australia, grow some balls. Used to be everybody talk about how all these animals in your country are designed to kill you. You have more deadly snakes in Australia than anywhere else. You have an island not too far away with the largest venomous lizards in the world. You guys have got all the sharks. You guys have got dingoes. You guys have got kangaroos, which will just knock your block straight off. And the way the rest of the world typically looks at Australia is like, wow, those guys are pretty, they're pretty rough and tumble, pretty tough people. But the honest truth is that Canada, the limpest wrist of any country in the world, is standing up to their government far stronger and far more successfully, thus far at least, than you guys are. You guys let your government take your guns away, just like, well, the cop said I gotta do it, so I don't want to go to jail. That's how you lose your freedom, stupid. Now, yeah, Canada did that too. To be fair, Canada also totally weak. But the thing is, there are exponentially more of you all than there are of the corrupt police force or of the entirety of your government. The number of people that are protesting are more than enough to overrun your entire government, to physically remove them from office, line them up, take care of the problem. That's that. Every time you have one of these protests and the cops show up and they start beating up an old woman and you chant at them, but they don't stop. And then it happens again and you chant at them and they don't stop. Pretty soon, there's not going to be any of you left over to chant at them because one by one, group by group, house by house, they're going to arrest everyone. And you're letting it happen. You're just chanting, "You serve us! You serve us!" Our government in America has not been able to do this because there's like 4 guns to every person in America, and less than 50% of Americans actually own guns. That's a lot of firearms. That is a lot of ammunition. And they know full well that if they go after one person, there could be 10 neighbors around, at least 2 of which might actually stand up and do something, and that would be more than enough people to take on any given SWAT team that shows up to try and take someone's guns. On top of the fact that someone like myself could have a cop show up and say, okay, we're here to confiscate your guns, and it'd say, okay, 1 bullet at a time. An expression that we get taught in our history books here in this country about how our country was founded is give me liberty or give me death. And there's another one that says those who are willing to sacrifice their liberties for a little temporary safety deserve neither and shall lose both shortly. And another one that says it is better to die on your feet than to live on your knees. Australia, right now, you are all on your knees. Even when you're out chanting in a circle around the police, but they start moving and you move with them. You're on your knees. This is why you should have never given up your guns in the first place. They would not have been able to do this. And the fact that people were, in all likelihood, saying, hey, they're going to try and take our guns. And everybody else is like, oh, no, they're not. They always say that. They never do. And then one day they did. What happened? Where's the balls? Where's the rough and tumble, the outback? The tough Aussie mentality that the world thinks it has heard about? Where is that? Where did that go? Shouting cuss words at police officers? In a normal circumstance, it's just, a day in their line of work. But when they're literally exercising totalitarianism, they're telling you what you can and can't say. They're telling you what you can and can't think, where you can and can't go, what you can and can't do. They're controlling every aspect of your lives. And the response to that, the police reaction to any violence would be terrifying or horrible. means that you've got a country full of chicken shits, too afraid of the consequences. They want to stand up to the police, but what if more police come? Then you need to have more of your people there for when more police come, and then surround them and don't let them leave. It's really simple. And I know you guys are a beer drinking country. Are you going to tell me that your country has outlawed glass bottles? Do you guys not have gasoline in your country? Do you not have cotton fabrics? Like, seriously. It's not upright to allow tyranny to persist. The way that evil prospers and thrives is when good men do nothing. And by chanting at the cops, you feel like you're doing something, but you're not stopping the cops from hurting people. So you're not doing anything. Meanwhile, in Canada, the truckers finally said, you know what? Enough is enough. We're going to grind it to a halt. And yeah, the government says that they're evil and that they are racists and bigots and fascists, and the media talks bad about the freedom fighter protesters. Oh no, what will we ever do with people's words floating in the air? When I was growing up, we had a little expression that says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never harm me. No, yeah, in the land of reputation, you can lose work or whatever, but you're going to lose work anyway. You're going to lose all kinds of stuff, more than you've lost so far, by just standing there and chanting and allowing them to continue doing what they're doing. Let me put it as simply as I can. Australia. They are allowing you to protest. They are letting you chant. You are not protesting anything. You are not fighting anything. You are allowing it to continue while making the pantomime of a people who are attempting to take back the power that the people are supposed to have. So, first off, take a cue from Canada. You guys got your own trucker convoy. Cool. What's going to happen in Australia is the police are going to attempt to pull over your trucker convoy, and I'm going to bet serious money that your trucker convoy pulls over. Well, but the cops said to pull over. You guys are brainwashed. You're under control. You've done it to yourselves. I don't know what else to tell you. Showing it to the world is not enough. Taking care of it yourself is what is required. Oh, but in America, they're not doing that, are they? Well, you know what? In some of the cities, they are. Unfortunately, they're quite distant from where I'm at for me to be able to do anything about it. And I don't mean that like, oh, it's so far away. What I mean is literally I cannot afford to drive 1,000 miles to go flip out on cops in New York City. But in the state I live in, our governor said, no, we're not going to do that. And if you send federal agents in to enforce any of this, our state agents are going to defend the state. And they recalled the state National Guard. They're here, not here all around us, but they are within the state. So that if the federal government oversteps its bounds, the state National Guard and the state government can repel the tyranny of the federal government. Part of this comes to paying attention to who you're voting for, paying attention to who's running, and not just listening to what they say, believing their lies, and oh, that guy seems like a populist, I'll vote for him. There's an entire block of states in the center of my country that have said hell no. And they're standing by it. I don't know what Australia's excuse is. You have elected nothing but tyrants to every one of your territorial premier positions, or whatever they're called. Your prime minister is corrupt. Your parliament is corrupt. Your police are corrupt. And if you refuse to fight back against it, you're complicit in the corruption. You are giving them permission every time you don't stop them. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. You either die free or live a slave. If you're lucky, you can remain free without having to die and not have to live as a slave. But you have to fight. You have to be willing to lose it all. Where I'm at, that's not an issue at this point because cooler heads prevailed. In other places, it would be necessary. And I'm frankly surprised here that this hasn't happened more either. Everyone is terrified of losing something. But if you allow tyranny to continue, you will lose literally everything. Everything. I can't do anything for Australia. I can't do anything for Canada. Shit, I can't do anything for New York or Washington, D.C. or L.A. or Portland or Seattle. But I can do it for my hometown, except that we're not dealing with any of this because there are approximately 4.5 guns per person in the entire country. Only half of those people actually own them, and the cops never know who's who. They dare not try that here. But that's because we refuse to give up our freedoms for any reason. So, I don't know, man. Maybe it is time for Australia to grow some balls. Take a look at what's going on in Canada and understand that underneath of that super polite Canadian veneer are a bunch of really rough people waiting to come out. And I think that's the last thing somebody like Trudeau really wants. He's already run away. What's your government doing? Have you caused them to run in fear? Because they say that when the government fears the people, that is liberty. But when the people fear the government, that is tyranny. So, Australia, make your choice. Do not sit on the fence. You either shit or you get off of the toilet. What are you going to do about your corrupt government?